So I already know when I get finished with this, there's still going to be people going, what? Listen, it's not about the carrots, it's about the process. Okay, what am I talking about? I'm talking about kids, I'm talking about young beings that we're held responsible for, that we're trying to raise up in certain ways, give them foundation and valuables, values to adhere to that hopefully will stick, even if they don't show it all the time. So, my youngest, my daughters, they're Starbucks babies. You know, we were Star Wars kids, they're Starbucks babies. You know, and only kids now have their own Starbucks cards and everybody else's rewards and things that we thought of as out of the ordinary have become their ordinary. I don't have a problem with that. I want and strive and will always try to give my daughters more than what I had. That's what we're supposed to do, correct? But I also want to give them the foundation and more in terms of values as well, or at least try to give them more adherence to it. I'm not going to say I always stuck to my guns. That's why we go through the processes that we do, correct? But here again, it's not about the carrots. So I go into the refrigerator and on the shelf I see water, or it looks like water, but what it is actually carrot juice from the carrots in the container that got turned over, and so therefore they spilled, and the container was still left upside down or sideways, and it was a mess. Not a huge mess, but it was a mess. Meaning, if you looked or even acknowledged, you would see that it was a mess and you should have straightened it up. Well, how did this happen? Because my daughter goes in the fridge to get her Starbucks pastry, and the Starbucks pastry was next to or on top of the container of carrots. I had a little container of carrots. So if you know me, you know I cook. And if you know me, you know I was raised by grandmother. And when I tell you my grandmother cooked and made everything she did, could and would. Hogshead cheese. Anybody know what that is? Okay, well I do. Not because I want to, but because my grandmother is from deep South Georgia, and when they cooked a pig, they cooked the whole pig, not just pork chops, not just pork loin, not just bacon. I mean, we go in the store, we see pig's feet. That's kind of like, that's normal. Hog's head cheese. I've actually seen my grandmother make cheese from hog's head. They took every part of the pig and made something of it. Now, I say that to say one of my values is I don't like to waste food. I don't like to order something. If I don't like it, I'm either sending it back or I'm going to eat it, because I don't believe in wasting food. And as much as I want for my daughters to experiment, I hate for them to waste food as well. I try not to fuss about it, but I try to instill in them, hey, and we say there's kids starving in Africa. You know what? There's kids starving 10 blocks over. So we don't have to go that far. But again, a waste. So the carrots, how do carrots end up in the refrigerator? Because I buy carrots and veggies because my daughters have favorite dishes, and these are one of the items that go in there. Quiche, carrots go in the quiche. So I buy them in the little containers. They make great, I don't have to measure out. It works. I already have the system in place. Anyway, I knocked one of these containers off the shelf and it popped the seal. Maybe I should have drained them before I put them in the refrigerator. But still, it popped the seal. So I took them, I put them in the refrigerator. I think this is a safe spot. Well, it is a safe spot, but they got knocked over by accident. So I call my daughter down and I'm saying, what's wrong with this picture? And of course she's looking at me, and she's got the look on her face like, I'm hearing you, but I'm not really hearing you. And I'm not fussing. I'm just trying to educate and give her values, give her foundation, give her the courage to be what she knows she should be at all times. You knocked it over, you know it's supposed to be a certain way, leave it that certain way. And she says to me, I didn't even see them. And you know what? I believe that because that wasn't her focus. Her focus was on getting that Starbucks treat out of the fridge. I don't have an issue with that. But again, we have to teach them certain things. And one of those things is being aware of your surroundings and being aware of what you're presenting in terms of yourself in that surrounding. You know, I tell my daughters all the time, if I say stop, stop. If I say move, move. If I say don't or shh, then you need to do that. Not in 3 seconds or 30 seconds when you think it's cool, but right then. Because it might be to save your life. If we're walking and I say don't step off the sidewalk, it might be because there's a car coming and you don't see it or I see it. So my point is, learn. It's not always a negotiation. Actually, it's never a negotiation, but it's not always about getting an answer right then. Sometimes if I say stop, I need you to stop. Don't ask any questions, just boom, that's it. And maybe we'll talk about it later. But back to the carrots. So I'm giving this whole 5-minute spiel of how she should have seen the carrots, why she should have straightened them up, and how could she do that. And I know she had to see them, and the bag was right on top of them. And in her childness, she was oblivious to not only the surroundings of her Starbucks treat and herself, but the presentation of what she gave of herself in leaving that in the refrigerator, knocked over, wasted, so on. It's not what we want our kids to present, and it's not what we should be presenting of ourselves either. So the fact that the carrots got wasted, it can happen. Accident. No problem. There's more carrots. I mean, we're not that desperate that if we lose the carrots, then we lose the whole meal or we can't eat. But we should act as if the carrots are important enough to treat them with the same amount of vigor and respect as we do anything else, and they should be seen as well. So again, it's not about the carrots, it's about the process. Get it? Carrots, we can replace them. We can clean it up. But the process, we don't just leave them there in waste. We don't just make a mess with things and in things and act as if it'll straighten itself or it's not our responsibility. You know, if we touch something, in a manner of speaking, if we touch something and we knock it over, we should straighten it up. If we touch something in our lives and we have a negative or adverse effect on it, we need to straighten that out. So it's not just in the refrigerator or in the house or in the yard. It's in the world. It's in our lives. It's in our relationships. It's in our jobs. If you knock the carrots over, straighten up your mess. So again, I say it, and I know there's some people still scratching their heads, but understand this. It's not about the carrots. It's about the process and the presentation of the person. Thoughts from the basement.